meeting is being recorded.
All right, well, welcome everyone to Wallace State Community College's Women in Diesel Technology Meet and Greet and Panel Discussion. My name is Christina Holmes. I'm honored and proud to serve as the Apprenticeship and Work-Based Learning Coordinator at Wallace State. I've actually been involved in professional development and education for over 15 years and at Wallace State for 4 of those years. We're so happy to have you join us, and we're excited about the wonderful group of women that you're going to hear from today, and our Wallace State faculty and staff, and just learn more about women in diesel. So just a couple of housekeeping items. We do have an evaluation survey that we're going to be doing at the end of this presentation. So I hope that everybody will take time to fill out the evaluation. If you fill out the evaluation survey, we're actually going to have a drawing for, check this out, $50 Visa gift card. So again, please fill out that evaluation at the end and be entered in that drawing. We're also going to be announcing a winner of a free diesel technology course here at Wallace State. So that is a 3 credit hour course. And that's, as a reward for participating in tonight's event. During the presentation, if you wouldn't mind, if everybody could stay muted so that we don't have any kind of sound or feedback issues, that would be great. If you do have questions, though, for the panelists or anything else while we're going through the presentation, you can actually put those questions in the chat. We're going to have several opportunities throughout the presentation to do a Q&A session and answer those questions for you. We're going to try our best to get to all the questions, but if not, we will have an opportunity at the end to do a breakout session where we can address those questions. So we're very excited to have a panel tonight of 3 women who have chosen diesel technology as a career pathway. They're actually going to be sharing their stories of empowerment and information on their success in diesel technology. One of our panelists is a current Wallace State student who's enrolled in diesel technology. The other 2 panelists are women who are working in field as a diesel technician and a diagnostic technician. We are going to have 2 additional speakers that are staff and faculty here at Wallace State. So again, as they're going over all of this information, if you have questions, just pop those in the chat. You're going to get to hear about the different resources that are available to you should you choose to enroll in this program, and we hope that you will. We're going to be providing you with information about financial aid and registration. And in the very last half hour, you'll be given that opportunity to go into those breakout sessions with either myself or with one of our other speakers, Anna. And we'll try to give you that support and answer your questions. So can everybody hear me okay and see me? If you wouldn't mind, just give me a quick thumbs up so I know we're good to go. Awesome. All right. Well, I think, as you all know, the gender gap in diesel technology is a real thing, but it's changing. So the number of women who are choosing careers as diesel technicians is actually growing, and we hope that tonight that you'll be able to see that by hearing about the opportunities that these women panelists have experienced. And that's true for anybody who's interested in diesel technology, not just women. So one thing that we found that all 3 of our female panelists actually had in common is that they all have a passion for working in the diesel field. They love working with their hands and fixing things and being able to problem solve, and just knowing that they're the ones who are able to fix the issue and get the job done. So let's go ahead and get started with our first panelist. I'd like to introduce Lucy Moore. Lucy is a current Wallace State student enrolled in the diesel technology program. And Lucy, she's always had a passion for working with anything that had a motor. But when she actually finished her GED, she chose to take a more traditional pathway and enroll in a nursing program. And Lucy quickly found out that nursing was not for her. And she later discovered the diesel technology program at Wallace State. And that's what piqued her interest. So I'd like to invite Lucy to go ahead and unmute herself so that we can get started with some questions.
Hello.
Hi, Lucy. Well, Lucy, just to start out, can you tell us how you got interested in the diesel industry as a career choice?
A lot of my family's always been doing mechanics, and actually one of my friends introduced me to the program and I liked it, so I went with it.
Awesome. Well, what challenges have you overcome while being in the diesel technology program at Wallace State?
I guess a lot. Figuring stuff out that I didn't think I could figure out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
What's it like working down there in the shop with the other male students?
I love it. They're all good people and they work with you pretty well. And can all get along. And Jeremy's great. And
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So when you're down there in the shop, I know that you work with a lot of heavy equipment. How do you handle that heavy lifting?
they have tools for most of it, but just think about it before you do it, so you don't go about it the hard way.
Awesome. What would you say that you enjoy most about being a student in the diesel technology program?
The hands-on learning experience, and they have flexibility of time, so it's not really a stress to get here or anything.
Okay. Well, why don't we switch gears just a little bit and, tell us, what do you do in your free time when you're not here at Wallace State?
Right now, I don't have much free time. When I do, though, I'd like to go fishing, ride ATVs, trail riding, and just anything outdoors, really.
Okay. I can't blame you for that. That all sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So Lucy, what advice would you give to other women who are considering a career in diesel?
If that's what they want to do, go for it. I feel like it'd be worth it in the end. And it's a lot of people need mechanics, so it's not really you're not really going to lose anything going for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lucy. We really appreciate you sharing all that information with us. If anybody is on that has questions for Lucy, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. We're going to come back to those later in a Q&A session after our other two panelists have had a chance to speak. So now we're going to move on to our next panelist, who is Haley Pang. And Haley actually has 7 years of experience working in industry. She's also received a certificate in diesel technology from a local community college. She's currently working for TruckWorks Kenworth, which is located in Birmingham, as a diesel technician. So Haley, we're super excited to have you here. If you wouldn't mind unmuting your microphone for me.
Can you hear me?
We're good. All right, so Haley, tell us, how did you get interested in becoming a diesel technician?
My grandfather was a truck driver. I spent summers with him. I was around his truck. I was around four-wheelers, boats, just constantly working on stuff. So I figured I have fun doing it. Why not make a career out of it?
Sounds good. Well, tell us about the company that you work for and what a typical day looks like for you.
A typical day, it's different every day. You can go in with a game plan and within 5 minutes of walking in the door, everything changes.
Definitely have to be flexible. Well, and what's TruckWorks Kenworth like? What's it like working for them?
It's a really positive environment. It's very different than other shops that I've worked at. Everybody gets along. People are constantly helping each other out. And it's, family owned. So it's just a healthy environment, which you don't see that in a lot of diesel shops.
Okay. So what's it like, being in a field like this that's male dominated?
I've had my ups and downs, mostly good experiences lately. It's coming to Kenworth, and the younger generation is starting to move into the shop. Versus when I first started, it was a lot of older guys, a lot of pushback,
I think that can be expected, anywhere that you work right now, regardless of the industry. So on a more personal side, what is it that you like to do with your spare time?
I train horses and just work on my property. Not a lot of free time. I usually spend 10 to 12 hours here a day.
Okay. Well, what is the one thing that you just love about your career and working in the diesel industry?
There's a constant challenge. It's never boring. Every day it's something different. Every engine I pull has a different issue. And just being able to figure those things out every day is really, really satisfying.
Awesome. Well, Haley, thank you so much for being on the presentation with us today. If anybody has questions for Haley, again, you can pop those in the chat and we will get to those in our Q&A session. So our third panelist is Missy Albin. And Missy Albin has actually been working in industry for 18 years. She's currently a diagnostic technician at International, and she was actually introduced to working in this field from her stepfather. So her stepfather actually owned his own trucking company, and while she was working there, he had identified her talent and her skill set, and that's what led her to pursuing a career in the diesel industry. So we want to welcome Missy to the presentation now. If you could go ahead and unmute, and we'll get started.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I hope you can hear me well.
Okay. Well, if we have any issues, I'll let you know. So Missy, to get started, can you tell us how you got interested in becoming a diagnostic technician?
I always wanted to take things apart and figure everything out. And after doing production and figuring systems out, diagnostics is where my brain functions the best within this industry.
Awesome. Can you describe to us the pathway that you took when pursuing education for this career?
Yes, I went to a 4-year university for graphic design, and I kept listening to Jake Breaks, and I ended my semester. I ended up hooking up with a dealership, International, and I got my dealer education. It took 3 years to get my master's in both IC school bus and IH trucks.
Wow. Okay. So as a woman, can you tell us what challenges that you face specifically working in a shop while raising a family and being pregnant?
Yes, absolutely. The biggest challenge was looking at things differently. I have learned ways and I put blinders on. This is how I do things. This is how I take out bolts. And this is how I pick things up. And when your body says, no, you need to look at your job differently and really reassess how to go about what you've been doing all these years and do it differently and still have the same outcome and not hurt yourself. So the challenge for me was myself, just relearning how to do the same job, but rethinking it and taking myself outside of my own box and my own box of logic and really thinking about leverage and full.
Awesome. So, Haley, what is it that you love about your career and working in the diesel industry? Or I'm sorry, Missy, I apologize.
It's okay.
What is it that you love about your career, Missy, and working in diesel?
My favorite is nothing gets boring.
Okay.
The only thing that does to me every single there's not enough of us. There's only 2.5% of us in the diesel industry over the 4% in automotive. So right now, my passion for not only just my career, my everyday, but is also to connect with other women and empower women and help support anybody that's going through any of the life trenches that we deal with, ups and downs through the shop. It's not perfect all the time. And that's why I think self-challenge is a huge focus. And I like to help women remind themselves they're there for themselves, and they're where they are today because they got themselves there, nobody else. So to reinstall the support and advocate for women is something I'm very passionate about. So I'm looking forward to actually connecting with more women that are on here after this as well.
Awesome. I love hearing that. And it sounds like you're a very great advocate for women who want to go into this field. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So now that we've had all three of our panelists speak, we do have some questions in the Q&A. And the first question that I see here is for Lucy. And Lucy, the question for you is, what has been your favorite project that you've worked on in the Diesel Technology Lab?
Probably tearing apart the motors and finding out what's wrong with it, being able to put it back together, right? But,
okay. Well, it looks like there's another question here for you, Lucy. It says, does Lucy work while she's going to school?
yes, I work Monday through Friday, 12-hour shifts, so about 60 hours a week, and long days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is another question referring back to the program. Someone wanted to know if you like the CDL portion of the program.
Yeah, I like it. It's not bad. It's, pretty cool. I guess it deals with trucks, but it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Awesome. All right. It looks like I've got a couple of questions here for Haley as well. Haley, do you specialize on any engines?
Yes, I specialize in PACCAR engines.
Okay. And how did you get that first job, Haley, when you came into this industry?
I was actually a student at Shelton State, and I got my first job at an off-road shop, cleaning, selling parts, sweeping the floors. Anything I could. And then once I turned 18, I applied for Peterbilt, and I was in school, and they were like, hey, let's put her on the floor. So I got really lucky.
So how many hours do you usually bill a month?
Since I do a lot of warranty work, typically about 150 hours.
Okay. Wow. All right. And it looks like I've got a couple questions for Missy also. Missy, what was the biggest challenge learning how to diagnose and repair electronics on heavy trucks?
Well, good question. I chase headaches. I basically use process of elimination, and just like your ASE test, you just eliminate what doesn't make sense, what isn't real, what could be. But yeah, diagnostics is kind of just where my brain functions. If you take complex multiplexing and data link, that makes so much more sense to me than if you're trying to explain how a transmission works.
Mm-hmm.
So my strengths kind of are definitely in the electrical field rather than, certain rebuilds in the shop. So that's pretty much what,
Well, would
It's
you
fun.
say that
Fun
this
stuff.
is a field that allows you to support your family and your hobbies, like financially?
Yes, actually, my husband does not work. I have 2 children. I have a 15-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Okay.
So I pay all the bills. I can take mini staycations, go away on staycations. We have, cars, we own our house. This job, you can make so much money. You can possibly make more money at fleets than you can in dealership. But with the dealership, what happens is when fleets are giving up they send it to us. So we get the most complex problems. And that's why I like where I am at versus, trying to get the big bucks. I want to be happy and sane and fulfill happiness rather than chase dollars per se.
Well, look, those were some great questions. Again, if anybody has additional questions or if we didn't get to all of them, we can try to address those towards the end of the presentation. But I just want to thank Lucy and Haley and Missy again for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. We really appreciate it. And it sounds like you guys are headed in the right direction and can look forward to much success. So thank you.
Hey, Chrissy, there was actually another question specific to Haley from a Tiffany.
Oh, sure.
It says, are you still building trucks for shows and steel?
No, I'm not. I spend most of my time at the dealership working and getting all my training done.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on from the Q&A and we're going to start talking about the actual diesel technology program that's here at Wallace State. And before we get started with that, we'd like to show a short video that's about women in diesel. So if our moderator could go ahead and share that video.
I am a diesel technician by title. I work for Herc Rentals as Mechanic Seed, mentee and training. So my company offers me 3 years of all the training I could think of or want or need to bring my skill level up to expectation fresh out of school. So I'm 2 out of 3 years into the program. They provided me with mentors and tools and access to anything that I may ever dream of. So here's the funny thing. Throughout high school, I avoided anything mechanical. Dirt, oil, grease, had anything of that sort near it? No, that's a man's job. But however, my dad did teach me how to detail a car in the inside out and at least have something to fall back on if ever unemployed. And about 15 years later, that skill came into hand. We had a hurricane come and hit us about 4 years ago in Sanford, and it took out almost everybody's jobs. My ex-husband couldn't find routes or anything to do as he was a truck driver. We were pretty stuck. So I started doing detailing for the dump trucks, do the interior real good. I mean, name a trucker who doesn't like a nice truck. The detailing eventually went on to, can you do a lube job? Can you do an oil change? Can you do an inspection? Can you do this or that? And at some time, my business could keep up with it, but the demand kept getting higher and higher. So I decided to further my education and take my business seriously so I could focus on my education at Universal Technical Institute of Orlando. And I focused like heavy on my grades and what was being learned because I came into this industry, I couldn't tell you Lefty Loosey Righty Tighty meant much until after I started in the trade. So I graduated UTI with a 3.87 GPA, the only female in my graduating class. Shortly after that, I got hired with Herc Rentals for heavy equipment, which was a whole new set of boundaries because you just surpassed, because you don't hear of women working on heavy equipment. And from there, it's been a fun ride. I love it like the best job in the world. If I had known it was this much fun, I would have did this a lot sooner. No 2 days are ever the same for me. I could be working on an excavator one day, I could be working on a loader another day, or a small light tower the next day. It's very unpredictable, and that's the fun thing about it. And it's also a puzzle when you get deep down into the diagnostics and not so much replace anything, but why and how to prevent replacing it again. It's amazing. Turns out wrenching has my heart.
Well, I'm hearing a theme here. I loved that video, by the way. I think that's really inspiring. And it sounds a lot like our other female panelists. You know, no day is the same. There's always a new challenge. You know, they get to problem solve and figure things out, and it just ends up becoming a passion of theirs. So I love that. So now we're going to move on to interviewing our department chair of diesel technology here at Wallace State. That's Jeremy Smith. So Jeremy, if you could unmute, I've got some questions for you.
Sounds great. Welcome, everybody.
All right. Well, Jeremy, can you tell us about the diesel technology program at Wallace State and what students can expect while they're enrolled?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So we run a very non-complex system here. We work on pretty much bumper to bumper, heavy truck. We deal with equipment. We deal with agriculture as well. So our program, you know, any kind of maintenance issue that goes on a vehicle, all the way through heavy labor, heavy rebuild on any type of piece of equipment, from a lawnmower to a piece of heavy equipment.
So
All
do you
hands
think-
on.
Well, I think that's what everybody wants anyways.
All
is that
hands on.
hands-on.
Yeah. So we teach our theory online live with me or Mr. Swindle. And when a person comes into our lab or our shop area here, it's all hands on deck as far as we go straight to work and spinning wrenches. We're very hands on in our program. The other, you know, one of the things I will bring to everybody's attention, you do not have to have a background in automotive here. You do not have to have a background of mechanical knowledge at all. We take care of that from start to finish here. It's actually better if you don't have bad habits that we have to re-teach things.
Good to know. So do you think that this is a good field for women, Jeremy?
I think it's an excellent field for females. You know, it is a male-dominated crowd around here, but females bring to the table the attention to detail. We run a lot of electronics through our program. There's a lot of electronics and after treatment problems in the world out here. And, you know, just from the outside looking in, a female brings a better perspective to that attention to detail it takes to repair. And not only that, when we're outside as technicians trying to be the doctor of something that we can't see on the inside of an engine, such as what Haley does, she has the knowledge base of what's inside that engine, probably quite a bit better than most folks in the industry right now. And she brings that to the table. You can't just get that out of most males in the field.
Yay, Haley. I love hearing that. Jeremy, can you tell us a little bit about the jobs that students get hired for whenever they graduate, and who are some of those employers that hire them?
Yeah, so we partner with most everybody in North Alabama. On the agricultural side, we are a Kubota Tech school here. So all of our students go through the Kubota Tech program, which is tractors, which is equipment, skid steers, track hoes, backhoes. Then we run light, medium, heavy trucks. We focus a lot on heavy truck in this facility. Coleman County, where we live, is dominated by the trucking industry. There's 33 trucking companies in Coleman County alone. So outcomes are places to go to work that I see. Not only our dealership partners, Madison, Decatur, and Birmingham, and that is all of the dealerships from a corporate level. A Daimler, a Freightliner, Mack, Volvo, Kenworth, Peterbilt, International. We deal with all of those. But in addition to that, we've got our agricultural group, and we've also Kubota, Tri-Green, John Deere. But we've also got, your light duty pickups, Bill Smith, Mitch Smith Chevrolet. So we have a lot of opportunity, and that's just local. We cover state line to state line from Birmingham all the way to Tennessee, Georgia, and Mississippi. We have a broad footprint up here.
It's a lot of options and opportunities for students who are considering this program.
Yes.
So how much can those students expect to make, having a career like this?
So it goes back to the student. You know, we have opportunities for students to make $16 an hour all the way up to somewhere around $24, $25 an hour. Typically, they go through a 90-day evaluation. We have federal registered apprentices where there's a pay scale with increments in as objectives are met. We have regular apprentice. We have job shadowing. We have people that work part-time 2 days a week. We run the most flexible program in the United States, if you really want to know. We are open here from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8:30 at night, sometimes 9, like last night. 4 days a week. We are open on Fridays. We are open every other weekend. So we built the Diesel by Distance program for the flexibility of people that want to upskill, people that's got a job, people that's got family and have to worry about childcare, those type things, those humanistic things that a lot of people won't think about, to give people coming in, especially our female population, give them the opportunity to come in at their leisure. And that's the way we do our online assignments. We run online curriculum as well that goes in addition to our live, that gives you the flexibility of doing that work, that prerequisite work at your leisure. There's not a set scale there. I think that's been the game changer for us.
Yeah, I would think that that's a big factor. I love hearing that there's all that flexibility, man.
It is.
Well, I know folks are probably going to have some questions for you. So if there is someone who has questions for Jeremy, if you could pop those in the chat, and we're going to answer those in just a few moments when we get to our next Q&A. So now I'd like to introduce Anna Beard. And Anna is the Diesel by Distance project coordinator here at Wallace State. So Anna, if you'd like to unmute.
Unmuted. Hello.
Anna, can you tell us a little bit more about the options that female students would have to earn and learn while they're in this program?
Yeah, we have different options from apprenticeships and internships, which I'm going to speak more onto that later. But we do have different work-based learning opportunities for them so they can work in field while they're in school making money. But we'll go into further detail with that later.
Awesome. So as a woman yourself, you're always down there in the shop here on campus. Can you tell us while you've been down there what you've observed?
I love going to the diesel shop. I mean, it's not like walking into a traditional classroom and everyone's sitting in a desk every day. You go down there one day and they're under a truck. You go down there the next day, they're on top of a truck or an engine. You go down the next day that they're lifting the trucks in the air or pulling an engine up. I mean, you never know what you're going to expect. It's always something different. And all the students are in different groups, so they're always working together, and the males and females work great together. The guys don't mind helping the girls if they need something. I love going down to the shop. I always have a good time down there.
Sounds fun. I feel like I need to go down there and spend some more time myself.
I think you should. Helps declutter the brain.
Well, prior to your current role as the Diesel by Distance coordinator, you know, I understand that you had no previous experience with diesel technology. So what would you say to a potential female student who's considering this program that has no previous experience?
Yeah, I pretty much knew how to jump off my car battery, and that's it. I knew nothing about diesel. I'm not exposed to it at all. But I have been down there and I work with some of the girls, and I've changed a set of brakes, and I've beat out a kingpin, and I know what a kingpin is now. Had no idea what that was before. I know what a torque wrench is. Didn't know what that was before. I didn't know what an impact was. I mean, I had no tool knowledge. I knew what a hammer was, right? So being down there and just hearing the lingo so often, you pick up on things. And so I know a lot more about tools and different parts and pieces to the diesel, but I don't know everything. But if I can figure it out, anyone can figure it out. That's how I feel about it, because my dad never showed me anything on a car or anyone, so it's not something that I was exposed to growing up.
I think that's good to know. So maybe there's hope for me yet. So maybe I'll come down there and you can show me around. Well, we keep hearing the terminology diesel by distance.
Mhm.
Can you explain what that means and how that differs from a traditional student in the diesel technology program?
Yes, so I am going to reiterate on this more again later, but Diesel by Distance is our hybrid online and in person version of the Diesel program, and it allows for a much flexible, more schedule. And the students that are enrolled in that program are provided a VR headset where they can practice certain tasks before they come into the shop. So we can go ahead and show that simulation video. This is a video of what it looks like when you're in the VR. We'll show you that and then we'll bounce back and we'll talk more about that later.
Sounds good.
All right.
Welcome to the Diesel Tech Shop. This truck was brought in with a leaking left rear shock absorber that needs to be replaced. Shock absorbers, also just known as shocks, are hydraulic devices that dampen spring oscillations and reduce tire bounce. Today, we're going to replace the two rear shocks. Touch the shock absorber to identify it. Use the grip button on your controller to pick up the safety glasses. Let's replace this worn-out left rear shock absorber. You're going to need both hands for this task.
Use your left hand to grab the combination wrench from the cart.
I placed an impact wrench on the cart with an impact socket and set it to reverse for you. Good. Start loosening the fastener. Use both hands to grab the shock absorber in the areas that I'm highlighting. Grab the new shock absorber from the cart. Now, place the bottom eye of the new shock absorber into the beam bracket. Use the mallet to tap the fastener head, and use your other hand to push the shock absorber down to adjust the length. Nailed it! This is a ratcheting socket wrench. Use the grip button on your controller to pick up the torque wrench and bring it to the fastener. Now, you need to twist clockwise to tighten. That does it! Excellent work! Let's use what you've just learned about replacing shock absorbers. You'll be scored for this part, and I'll be here if you get stuck, but you'll lose points if I have to help.
Put on the PPE needed for this task, then press the Submit button.
The virtual coach has the trainee choose the proper PPE. The trainee then demonstrates their mastery by correctly replacing the shock absorbers. After successfully accomplishing the hands-on section, the trainee will have completed the tutorial.
Congratulations! You just earned a gold medal. Grab it to unlock it.
That's so cool. I mean, that if that doesn't make the learning more fun, I don't know what does. So thank you for sharing that video. And thank you, Jeremy and Anna, for answering those questions that we had. So now we're going to go ahead and move into a Q&A session. We do have some questions for both Jeremy and Anna. And if you think of other questions, please pop those in the chat and we'll try to get to as many as we can. To start out, one of the questions, and this can be for Jeremy or for Anna, whoever wants to take it. What's the job placement rate for students coming out of the program?
So we have a 99.5% job placement rate for students that actually complete the course. And that completion rate is with the short-term certificates or in 2 short-term certificates, long certificate, or the associates in applied science general with diesel tied to it. If you make it through the program, the only reason you couldn't have a job is because you don't want a job. We have well more employers than we do students, and we've got a lot of students. But we've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 new industry partners come on this week. Oh yeah,
that's true. So again, Jeremy, can you explain how long is the program? I guess if you're going for an associate's degree versus a certificate.
Yeah, so typically the associate degree adds 1 semester to our program. Our distance program is just a little bit longer. It's 4 full semesters, the way we've got it drawn out, versus our traditional students that come every day. due to the fact that we backed up to 4 classes instead of 5. So you're looking at a 2-year run. But we look for people to, to work with our industry partners very shortly after they come into our program, within a couple of semesters. And if they're really, really good, it could be shorter than that, or, depending on the student, it could be a little bit longer, and it could be the 3rd, 4th semester that industry takes hold of them.
What kind of credentials are built into the program?
So there's stackable credentials that we have throughout our program. We are a Snap-on certified school. We're an NC3 certification center as well. So we give certifications in torque, multimeter, battery starting and charging, diesel diagnostics. But we focus on Kubota Tech through NC3 because we are level 1, level 2 certified in Kubota Tech. Fortunately, we develop it, and we write quite a bit of curriculum for that here in our program, as well as for the VR. So we focus a lot on Kubota Tech. We have several Kubota dealerships that partner here with the college.
Okay. So I know we touched on this a little bit, and I think Anna may be talking a little bit more about this, but do the students have opportunities to do internships, Anna? And if yes, are they paid?
Yes, we have internships and apprenticeships for students, and they're both paid. And most of them start between 16 and 19 an hour, but it really just depends. And yes, we will be talking about that later, more about that later.
So you had mentioned that they start anywhere from 16 to 24 an hour. How much, can someone expect to make overtime, or I guess when they enter the workforce and they're finished up with school? What would be a good estimated starting pay there?
Jeremy, do you want to hit that one?
Yeah, so typically you're above 20 when we get to that point right there, and we're seeing that rise. We've got some things going on in the country here that's there's had to be some adjustments made to pay scales right now. That entry level $16, $24 an hour, and right now we see some technicians top pay at $48 to $52 an hour. That's a proven statistic. Let's top pay. The sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. So if somebody on here wants to check this out, is it possible for them to come here and tour the facility?
Yeah, we have open door policy here. Anytime other than a holiday, if the doors are open, you're welcome to come in anytime, give you a facility tour, bring you some work clothes, some safety glasses. We'll put you to work out here and let you try it out first. Just try it before you buy it here.
So, Anna, do we have any other events coming up that might be of interest to some of our listeners?
We are going to have an in-person meet and greet down at the diesel shop, or maybe at the diesel shop, maybe here, I'm not sure, but that'll be in August. And
Okay.
so if anyone is interested in that, we can send you additional information about that later. We also have some industry comes to Wallace State. Those meetings or those events are monthly, and it's an opportunity for students to connect with employers hiring for, those programs.
Awesome. Okay.
So, Christian, let me jump back in there for just a second. Haley and Missy, do you agree that the amount of money a person could make in a career doing this is just phenomenal? It's depending on what you want. Y'all agree with that? There's these young ladies right here they can make millions of dollars in their years in the career. It's just there like apples to be had.
All right. Well, we've gone through some questions that were put in the chat now. So I think I'm gonna turn it back over to Anna for a few minutes so that she can share with you how you register for this program and tell you a little bit about the different types of financial aid and student resources that are available to you if you become a student. And so as she's going through her presentation, any questions that come to mind, just put those in the chat and we'll address those in a few. So Anna.
Okay, so hello again. Yes, my name is Anna Beard and I am the Diesel by Distance project coordinator here on campus. Diesel by Distance, like I said, is our hybrid online and in-person version of the Diesel program. It allows our students who can't be here during the day a more flexible schedule. The classes are online at night for approximately 1 hour twice a week, and they're recorded. So if you can't watch them at that assigned time, then it's no problem. You can view them later. This program allows us to work with any type of schedule that a student may have. Our lab, where you'll actually come in, is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then every other weekend from 8 to 2 on Saturday and Sunday. So those students who may work Monday through Friday, they can come in the evenings and or on weekends for their in-person labs, where they can practice their hands-on competencies on the equipment. Within the program, you receive many credentials, including your CDLs, and this would enable you to work on or drive trucks and equipment. And also, most employers will pay $1 more if you do have your CDLs. Within this program, you are also provided the virtual reality headset, which is that's what that video was we watched a minute ago. That was our virtual reality simulation. So you get the VR headset, and that's actually what you would be seeing and doing. We have a wide variety of simulations that enable you to practice different tasks. So when you're within there, you can say, okay, this is the tool I need. Okay, that's how I'm going to do that. That's where that's at on the truck. So you get that at home so you can practice that before you come in and actually do it on the equipment. So we also can provide laptops and hotspots to those students who may need it. And then Wallace State was designated as a caring campus, and we offer many services to our students in addition to the equipment loans that we can provide. We have a counselor on campus, a food pantry called Line's Kitchen, a tutoring lab, a mother's lounge for nursing mothers, a veterans corner, as well as career services, success advising, and student engagement events to help you build long-lasting friendships with other students on campus. Some of the student engagement events on campus consist of Trivia Tuesday, karaoke, bingo, kickball, movies on campus, and more. Most of these events take place inside Wally's Grill at the Student Center, where you can also play free pool, Xbox, air hockey, or borrow a bike for a ride around campus on your lunch break. Wally's Grill is one of the spots on campus where you can dine. We also have Campus Ministries, who serves meals the first Monday of every month, and they take donations only. Food trucks on campus sporadically, and then the Culinary Arts program serves lunch on Wednesdays for just $5 with a drink included. Now, I work within the Center for Career and Workforce Development Department at Wallace State, and that enables us to assist you with resume building, mock interviews, finding work with internships and apprenticeships and other forms of work-based learning. Now, with a registered apprenticeship, the employer is responsible for your tuition, books, fees, and sometimes even tools. With an internship, you'd be working in field with one of our employer partners while enrolled in school. And most of our partners' starting pay for students is between $16 and $19 an hour with potential for growth. But like we've mentioned, it really depends on your skill set. So if you can prove you can do more, they're going to pay you for what you can do. We even have a Wallace Work wardrobe where you can get an outfit for an interview if you are in need of one. And we also host a variety of events on campus called Dream Plan Do to connect students with employers. Just recently, we hosted a work-based learning open house, a career fair, and our monthly Industry Comes to WSCC sessions. We were able to connect several of our students with jobs from these events just this month. In my role, I also serve as the success coach for women in the Diesel program, and I assist them with many avenues in the program, from registering to finding scholarships and ensuring that they are on the right track. Right now, all of the women in the program are extremely dedicated and demonstrate their hard work and competencies while in their designated lab times and class times. They have all received some form of financial aid and haven't had to pay anything out of their pocket, and we can do the same for you. I'm always looking for scholarships for students. In fact, I sent out just 3 yesterday, one of which was specific to women in auto and diesel. And if you complete your FAFSA, 80% of students get a Pell Grant, which is federal money that you do not have to pay back. We also have partnerships with tool companies where students can get 50% off tools that they need to begin working in the field. One of the girls that I work with recently received a scholarship. It was actually from Tech Force, that video we watched earlier. She received a Tech Force scholarship. And so that's going to cover her tuition for the summer. So her Pell Grant that she gets, she's going to be able to use that to purchase her tools so that she'll already have her tools so she can start working, because most companies are going to require you to have tools to start working. So we are able to help you in so many different ways and get that financial aid, get your tools, get you start to work. If you're interested in joining the program, we can help you navigate through that tonight. Fall classes will begin on Thursday, March 18th, and registration for that will open on April 4th. If you are all signed up for the fall tonight, you will go through this program together as a group, and you will have each other to help build on your social capital.
Awesome. That was so much great information, Anna. Thank you.
A lot of information.
It's a lot, but it's the things that, you know, that students and people want to know. So thank you. We do have a couple of questions for you that came in the chat. You had mentioned tools. So how much is the equipment and the tools?
So equipment as in VR, is that what you mean?
I think she's talking to me. I think she's talking to me.
Oh, okay.
So here we have a standard entry level tool list here in our program, and that tool list covers most anything that a student would need to start into the field. Now, we don't require name brands here in our program. We require safe tools. So we don't require you to have Snap-on, Matco, those type things. But we want you to have a good, solid set of safe tools. And that could range anywhere from, by the time you get a small cart or a box, $1,000 up to whatever you want to spend, 10, 15,000. I mean, it's sky's the limit on that. These young ladies in this will tell you that I'm sure they've been on tool trucks. But to get in the field, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 will get you in the field safely, and that's what we're concerned with here, not name brands.
Gotcha. Well, I think that hearing that there are costs associated with that. That's why those scholarships and that Pell Grant and all of these other resources are so important. So, Anna, you had mentioned scholarships when you were speaking, and one of the questions is, how do I apply for those scholarships?
So I actually typically I send a link to the girls and I have them set up a time with me to where we can review all of the information together. And then typically what it is, there's an application and then they'll ask for like letters of reference or recommendation letters. You'll need your transcripts or your GPA in order to apply for these. Sometimes they ask for a video. There's just different requirements for each one, but I always send it out to the girls and ask them to set up a meeting with me, and then they come see me and we work through everything together. I try to make everything as easy as I can, because college can be a stressful time.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for everything that you do, Anna and Jeremy, both of you. So we're kind of winding down now to the last part of the presentation. You're going to have an opportunity here in a few moments to meet one-on-one with either Anna, if you're a new student who's considering registering for this program, or you can meet with me in a breakout room if you're an existing student who's thinking about maybe changing to this program from the program that you're in. And so I just want to take a minute and I want to thank all of our panelists who were on here today for sharing their story and all this great information about careers in diesel. If you have any other questions, you can, reach out to us. Like I said, we're going to hang back a little bit on here for those breakout sessions. But before we move into that, we actually have a survey that we'd like for everyone to complete who's on here with us tonight. The moderator is going to be putting the link to that survey in the chat. and it's for a Women in Technology Evaluation Survey. So if everybody could just it's not going to take but just a couple minutes to go out here and fill this out, we would really appreciate your feedback. And don't forget, if you fill out the survey, that's what puts you in the drawing for that $50 Visa gift card. So whenever you've finished up filling out the survey, if you wouldn't mind just popping in the chat saying done or completed, that would be great. The survey itself, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here so we can kind of go through what it's asking together, and you can just fill yours out and follow along with me.
Hey, Chrissy, can I say one more thing that I?
Yes, please, please.
Okay, so I did want to let everyone know that we do have 6 females in the program right now. So that makes up higher than the 2.5% average rate of women in field. It makes up more about 10 to 12% of our program. So I just wanted y'all to know that information. And 3 of our ladies are working on their CDLs in the program right now, and they will be finished in 2 weeks. So pretty excited about that.
So if you register tonight, you could be the 7th female or the 8th or the 9th, right? We're looking to add more to this program. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Anna. All right. So hopefully everybody has gone out and been able to click on the link in the chat for the survey. When you open that up, the first question that's out there is going to be to rate the different aspects of our event that we had tonight. And so that's just, the overall quality, the technical part of it, because we always want to know like how we did, so that when we have events like this in the future, we can improve, right? I would love for you to rate how the role models did when they were speaking, and how you felt about the program information that you received, as well as the enrollment information, because if we're not sharing the appropriate amount, we want to know that so that we can do better the next time. The next question on the survey is just you kind of recording your level of agreement or disagreement with each of the statements. And those statements are, the content of the meet and greet was useful to me. I want to know if, you felt like you got something out of this, or if you wished you could have got a little bit more. If you learned about diesel technology careers, hopefully you learned a little something tonight that maybe you didn't already know by hearing from one of our panelists or from Jeremy when he talked about some of those employers that we work with. The next statement is, I feel I could be successful in a diesel technology career. After what you've heard tonight, did you feel like you could take that next step and that you could be that next 7th or 8th or 9th female student down there in the program? And then, do you plan to pursue a diesel technology career? So if you feel pretty certain, even if the registration doesn't happen tonight, that you're going to register and participate in our program here at Wallace State, I'd love for you to tell us that on the survey. I'd also like to know if you were attending this event tonight for yourself, or if you were attending for someone, maybe a friend or a family member that was interested in pursuing a career in diesel. And then if you look over in the survey, question number 4, it asks you about, what kind of courses that you're interested in. So if you're thinking maybe just a short-term certificate or going for the full-blown associate's degree, or if you're interested, we also want to know if you're thinking about taking the program as a traditional student in person, or if you liked that diesel by distance option where it's more of a hybrid version. We'd like to know that. And then also, if you need to have any additional support, if you need to talk with the staff, if you need to talk with Jeremy or Mr. Schwindel, who teach down in diesel technology, or you need to have another conversation with Anna, or if you need to talk to someone in financial aid, it gives you some options there to select, so that lets us know you need to connect with one of those individuals. And then if you have any specific questions about the program or anything that we talked about tonight, you can input those in your survey, and we can help you with those via email. So then it also gives you the opportunity to tell us what the best way is to contact you, whether that's email, text, or phone. And we'd also like to know if you're a current Wallace State student. And kind of what your age range is. I mean, you guys can read those things. I'm not going to go through all of that, but I'd also like to know if you've been employed though in the diesel industry, either now or previously. And how did you hear about this meet and greet? We really want to know how people saw this. Was it through social media? Was it by word of mouth? Did the Alabama Trucking Association? Did you know somebody that works there that shared this with you? And then it gives you a chance to put your actual contact info in there for us. So if you could just take a couple of minutes, I'll give you a few minutes to do that. And then just in the chat, if you wouldn't mind letting us know that you've completed the evaluation, and then we are going to move on to selecting our winner of the $50 Visa gift card, and also the winner of a free diesel technology course here at Wallace State. So that's super exciting. So let me take a look here and see what we've got going on in chat. Oh, I see some people getting done. I apologize, but one of the responses in the chat, it looks like iPhone 13. Is that
It's Kirsten Sellers.
China?
No,
Okay.
it's Kirsten Sellers. I already talked to
Okay.
her.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Just give you a couple more minutes there. We really appreciate you taking time to fill this out because it's super helpful for us. All right, so I think we are ready to announce our winners. So for the $50 Visa gift card, which is a thank you for completing the survey, our winner it's Kristen Sellers. So awesome. Congratulations, Kristen. This is your gift card right here, and we will make sure that we get this to you. If you've completed that survey, we've got your contact info. And let's see who our random winner for the 3 credit hour course is going to be. It looks like China Schramm. I hope I'm saying that correct. China Schramm, you have actually won a free diesel technology course here at Wallace State. So again, thank you for completing your surveys. We've got your contact information, so we will be coordinating with each of you. Congratulations. And so now what we're going to do is our moderator is going to set things up so that we can do a breakout session. And again, if you're a current student and you need assistance with registering or have some additional questions, you'll come to the breakout session with me, with Chrissy. That's for existing students. If you're someone who is not currently a Wallace State student, you will go to the breakout session with Anna to get assistance. And so that should just be popping up on your screen here in a few moments, and you can choose which room you want to go to, or you can indicate that in the chat. If you're on your cell phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand if you need help, or you're welcome to go ahead in just a moment and unmute yourself and ask us for assistance. But we're very excited to have all of you who are considering Wallace State here as new students and becoming part of the Wallace State family. So before we break out, I just want to say on behalf of Jeremy and Anna and myself, thank you so much for participating tonight in our Women in Diesel event, and welcome to the Wallace State and Diesel Technology family. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.